Hey everybody, this is Javi, and you are watching the Inner Child Collective, where you and your inner child heal for the better. Welcome and hello. Tonight I'm actually reading a bedtime story live here on YouTube, and tonight's story is going to be Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Hey to the person who just popped on, how are you doing? So I'll be doing this every week. Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to let everyone know that I am here. Just click on that like button. Also, subscribe to my channel so you will never miss another video. You'll never miss another story. I do all kinds of stuff on here. For those who don't know, I'm a psychic, intuitive medium, and author who specializes in inner child therapy. And one way that I tap into the inner child and things of that nature is by reading bedtime stories. Children's literature is extremely important. On top of the fact that it does help, help people connect to their inner child. And so, if you have a favorite book that you would like me to read, by all means, let me know in the comments. You can also send me messages if you follow me on social media. And so let's get started. I know that one person came on. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with me. Let people know that I'm here if you can. Spread this stuff far and wide. And so tonight we are reading Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I'm so used to saying Alice in Wonderland, so that's why there's a hesitation. But Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. This is what we're reading tonight, okay? So let's get started. This right here. This is actually beautifully done too, as well as far as that goes. So let's get started. Alice was sitting on a riverbank surrounded by daisies, feeling very bored. Before long, she began to feel sleepy. Just then, a white rabbit with pink eyes darted past. The rabbit stopped, took out his watch, and glanced at it. Then he popped into a hole and disappeared from sight. What on earth is that? Alice wondered. Alice jumped into a hole where the rabbit had, hold on, let me do this one more time. Alice jumped into the hole, and Alice fell through the darkness for a very long time. When she landed with a thud at the bottom, Alice found herself in a long, narrow hall. There were doors everywhere. In the center of the hall, there was a glass table, and on top of the table was a little golden key. The little key fit the keyhole of the littlest door. Alice opened it. Beyond the opening, which was only the size of a mouse hole, Alice could see a lovely garden. Oh, how beautiful! How I wish I could reach it, Alice exclaimed. But the door was so tiny, even Alice's head was too big to fit through. Now, I can't reach the key on top of the table, Alice cried. Then Alice noticed a box of cake under the table. The cake was decorated with raisins spelling out the words, "Eat me." I suppose it's worth a try, Alice decided. Just then, Alice noticed a tiny bottle on the top of the table. The bottle was labeled, "Drink me." Alice did as the label said and immediately began to shrink until she was very, very small. She's just drinking anything or eating anything that says that got a message on it. Okay, Alice. No sooner had Alice eaten the cake than she began to grow and grow. Now she could reach the key on the tabletop, but she was too big to fit through the tiny door. Poor Alice began to cry. She was so big that her tears began to form a pool at her feet. Just then, the white rabbit came running past, muttering, "Oh dear, I shall be late." The white rabbit seemed just as frantic as before. He dropped his fan and rushed off without noticing. I wonder why he's always in such a hurry, Alice thought. It makes me hot just watching him. She picked up the white rabbit's fan and began to fan herself. Right away, her body began to shrink again. She shrank so quickly that she was afraid she would disappear altogether. She flung, she flung away the rabbit's fan. Oh dear, that was close, she said to herself. Alice looked around. The puddle of tears was like a lake to her now. That was how small she had become. Are these all my tears? She wondered out loud. As she spoke, her foot slipped as she fell with a splash into the lake of tears. There were a mouse and a parrot and a duck in the pond, too, all trying desperately to get to shore. Finally, Alice and the other animals made it to the edge and crawled out of the lake. When she reached the shore, Alice found herself at the edge of a great green forest. At the entrance to the forest, there was a mushroom that was as tall as Alice. On the top of the mushroom sat a caterpillar. The caterpillar was smoking a pipe. In a sleepy voice, it said to Alice, "Try breaking off the pieces of the mushroom. One side will make you larger, and one side will make you smaller." With that, the caterpillar slid down from the mushroom and crawled off into the grass. Alice did as the caterpillar had said, breaking off pieces of the mushroom with both hands. She nibbled a piece from the right side first. Right away, she could feel herself shrinking. Then she nibbled a piece from from the left side. Right away, she could feel herself growing. "Oh, good! Now I can see whatever size I want, whenever I want," said Alice. She set off her way once again. She set off on her way once again, shrinking and growing as she nibbled the pieces of mushroom in both hands. So you can see it better. After walking for a while, Alice came upon a cat in the branches of a tree. It was the Cheshire Cat, grinning from ear to ear. Politely, Alice asked the cat, "Excuse me, can you tell me which way to go?" The Cheshire Cat told her, "Keep going straight. You'll come to the Hatter and the March Hare." As it spoke, the cat began to vanish, beginning at the tip of his tail. The very last thing to disappear was the cat's grin, which remained for several moments after the rest of him had faded away. Alice followed the Cheshire Cat's directions. Soon she came upon a long table where the Hatter and the March Hare were having a tea party. Between them sat a dormouse, fast asleep. "There's no room," the March Hare told Alice, but there were plenty of places set. How strange, Alice thought. Was beginning to feel annoyed when the Hatter asked, "Would you like to hear a riddle?" "Here, it's a riddle without an answer, mind you." "What's the point of that?" Alice asked, losing her patience. "I think I'll be going." She stood up and went quickly on her way. Alice walked and walked until she came to the edge of the forest. There, she came upon a lone tree with a door in its trunk. I might as well try it, Alice decided. She opened the door and was astonished to find herself in a large hall where she first landed. Alice picked up the key from the table and nibbled on the mushroom in her right hand to make herself smaller. Now I can finally get into that beautiful garden, she thought. When she stepped through the door, Alice found herself in a magnificent garden full of flowers and fountains. There were white roses blooming everywhere. Three gardeners who happened to have the bodies of playing cards were busily playing or painting them red. We were supposed to paint red roses, but we painted white ones by mistake, the gardeners exclaimed. Oh dear, the Queen's procession will be here very soon. The Queen arrived with a long procession behind her. The White Rabbit was with her too. When she saw the gardeners, the Queen frowned. Mistaking white roses for red? Unforgivable! Off with their heads! She shouted. Then the Queen strolled hostilely away. A few moments later, Alice heard the Queen's voice in the distance. The game of croquet is about to begin. Everyone take your places, she announced. It was the strangest game of croquet Alice had ever seen. The balls were round little hedgehogs and the mallets were flamingos. Alice's flamingo looked at her with embarrassment after she tried to hit a hedgehog and missed. The hedgehogs were constantly wandering off, as were the soldiers who were serving as archers. It was hopeless to even try. The Queen was furious. Off with everyone's head, she pronounced. Alice was fed up with the commotion. She looked around to see if there was any way to escape. That was when she noticed something strange floating in the air. At first, it was just a grin. Then came a pair of eyes, and finally a pair of ears. Grinning, the Cheshire Cat asked Alice, "How are you getting on?" Alice was glad to finally have someone to talk to. "They're constantly quarreling," Alice said. "I've had quite enough." Just then the Queen happened by. "Off with his head!" she shouted angrily when she saw the Cheshire Cat. A crowd began to form, but the Cheshire Cat took advantage of the confusion and disappeared just as mysteriously as it had appeared. Just then, a trumpet sounded. "The trial is beginning," someone yelled. Alice ran into the courtroom. The king and queen were already seated. "The knave is on trial for stealing the queen's tarts," the king declared hastily. "Send him off to jail immediately." "Not yet," said the White Rabbit. "This is a trial. We must hear all the witnesses." Just then, a strange feeling came over Alice. She found herself growing bigger and bigger. At the top of his voice, the White Rabbit called out, "Alice to the witness stand!" "Here!" called Alice, standing up quickly and knocking over several of the people around her. She had forgotten how large she had grown. "Oh dear, I'm very sorry," she cried. "Clearly the knave is guilty," the king declared rashly. "That's right, off with his head," the queen shouted. Alice couldn't stand it. You can't decide it just like that. It doesn't make any sense, she shouted. Silence! Off with her head too, the queen screeched. Off with all of their heads. Who cares for you, Alice declared at the top of her voice. You're nothing but a deck of cards. Then the whole pack of cards went flying up into the air and rained down on Alice, and Alice screamed. Alice opened her eyes. She was lying on the riverbank with daisies blooming all around her. Oh, I must have been dreaming, she exclaimed. Alice wanted to tell her sister all about the strange dream she'd had. I better not be late for tea, she said to herself, and ran back to the house as fast as she could. The end. So that was Alice's Adventure in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. If you enjoyed that in any way, shape, or form, by all means, let me know in the comments. You can also click the like button. Also, if you have a title you would like me to read, by all means, let me know in the comments as well, or send me a message. If you follow me on social media, if you follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, you can let me know in the comments. Also, click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another bedtime story. I'm here every Wednesday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Every little bit helps as well, as far as letting people know that I'm here, because the more people know about their inner child, the better. It's not just about, trauma. It's not just about, just doing the work all the time. Sometimes it's about having fun and tapping into your imagination, and reading bedtime stories is a way to do it, right? So let me see. What was I going to say? I think that's about it. Oh, if you would like to have a more personalized session as far as bedtime stories are concerned, by all means, you can go to my calendar and click an appointment. Click on the link to set an appointment. And what I do is I will send you a video reading you your bedtime story, and then I will send the video and the audio. The audio will be edited to, just so it's just not me talking, right? So if you would like to have that service, by all means, let me know. And, by clicking on the link in the descriptions and setting up an appointment, and then I'll be able to get that done for you, right? So again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you sharing your energy with me and allowing me to do this for you. So thank you. And till next time, peace. I'll see you next Wednesday.